Okay, so today we're going to take a look at image maps. So image maps are hotspots that you can put on an image, and then if you click on those hotspots it will go to a link. So you're marking areas of an image as being special. And if you click on one of those special areas, it'll take you somewhere. Now there used to be only server side, but now we usually only use client side. I'll explain the difference. So with a server side image map, what happens is the user clicks on the image, and then the browser sends the coordinates that they clicked on off to the server. Then the web server runs some code that figures out, well, clicking on position number, clicking on point 100, 150 means we should go to CIT.com or something. And so then the server then will send back to the browser the URL that it should go to. So that's server side. So all of the brains are in the server. All the browser does is sends off, oops, someone clicked on me here, what do I do? And then the server comes back, okay, you go to CIT.com or something. We don't see so much of that anymore, mostly because it was difficult to do, and also web hosting companies weren't very happy. You needed a lot of power to run things on the server, and so there's no need for that now. With client-side image maps, what happens is that all the brains are in the browser. So as part of the code for the HTML page, you have the image, and you also have the image map that will tell the person where they need to click. So where they need to go if they click on a certain thing. So if you click on a particular point, the browser goes, okay, what does that mean? Well, that means go to CIT.com. Okay, I'll go off to CIT.com. So the browser has everything it needs. All the brains are in the browser. Typically, when you see an image map, typically it's being used for navigation purposes. So you might have an image. You could imagine, for example, that you all were making a bunch of web pages about yourself, and you got some space on the web somewhere, and you had a front page that had a picture of all of you. And then if you click on one person's face, it goes to their homepage. So you could do that, for example, with an image map. And that's typically what people do with image maps. They use them for some sort of navigation. They're not as popular as they used to be, but they're handy little things. So what you do with an image map is that you specify different areas on the image. So you specify the coordinates of the areas on the image, and then you say where they go. So we're going to have a look at how these work. You can follow these notes on your own machines as well if you want. They're off the blog there. Now, so let's just look at how we might specify the areas first, okay? And we'll fit them into a page then later. So here we have an area, and we're saying area space shape equals rect. So this is saying this area here is a rectangle. And to specify a rectangle, you need to specify 2 points. You need to specify opposite corners. So in this case, we're going to specify the top left corner and the bottom right corner. Alternatively, you could specify the top right corner and the bottom left corner. But specifying the top left corner and the bottom left corner would be no good, because that's not a rectangle, that's just a line. So you specify opposite corners of the rectangle, and to specify a point, you need 2 values. So the first number is how many pixels over from the left of the image, and the next number is how many pixels down from the top. So that leftmost corner there would be 65 pixels over and 120 pixels down. The other point then is we're saying 106 pixels over and 171 pixels down. And so that's how we specify the location of that rectangle. We have a href then that says where you go when you click on that. So in this case, it's going to go to Ireland.html. And then you'll also have an alt attribute in there. Some browsers, when you roll over the area, it'll show you what's in the alt tag. So any questions on that part? So specifying a rectangle is easy enough. To specify a circle, you need two pieces of information. You need the center of the circle, and you need the radius of the circle, not to be confused with the diameter. So here we say area, shape equals circle, and we're saying coords equals, now 210 pixels over, 160 pixels down gives us the center of the circle, and then the last piece of information there, 40, is the radius of the circle, which means the diameter of the circle is 80 pixels. The href here, we're just saying you're going to N Europe, whatever, and the alt attribute says north. And then the last kind of shape you can have, the last kind of area you can have is a polygon. So for polygon, you have to specify each point one by one. You can start anywhere and go around. So we're going to start here at the top left corner, although the top left corner of that polygon is neither the topmost nor the leftmost, but you know the one I mean. So the green one there, we're saying area shape equals poly, coords equals, and then we're specifying the first point. So it's 75 pixels over and 250 pixels down. The next one is 150 pixels over, 220 pixels down. The next one there, then the orange one, is say 200 pixels over, 300 pixels down. And the last one is 50 pixels over, 350 pixels down. If you click on that, you're going to go to iberia.html, and the alt attribute there is Iberia. Get the idea? Now the order does matter. If you don't go around clockwise, if you do say the green one and then the orange one and then the yellow one and then the blue one, you're going to get some sort of like X-wing fighter type shape thing. Okay? A butterfly type shape. Because if you go bing, 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 this part here won't be part of it. So the order doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you start, doesn't matter whether you go clockwise or anti-clockwise. But it seems to me starting the top left and going clockwise just seems the most natural. Now you can't do curves and things like that. For a curve, you'd have to just go point by point by point and do it as best you can. Now all of these then fit into a map tag. So all of these areas fit into a map. I put the map in the head, but actually it can be in the body, doesn't matter where it goes. So if you say map name equals, and then you give that map a name. I've called it Euro-night. When you do that then, inside in the image tag, it's a regular card-carrying image tag, the same as any other image tag. You've got a source and an alt and a width and a height. But you can say useMap equals hash and the name that you've given the image map. So this would be inside in the body here. But the map would be in the body as well, it's not a big deal. I usually throw it in the head instead. So your image tag is just a regular image tag with you this extra piece of information. You say use map, and then it'll take you where you want to go. Any questions on that? So let me show you then. Just connect up to the interweb. think I'm giving away any great security secrets there anyway. So if you go to the blog there, I have an image map that you can use. Just see if it's there. Okay, so here I have an image that's 500 pixels by 500 pixels that you can download if you want from the blog. And what you could do here is you could, if a person clicks on France, you go to France. If they click on Spain, you go to Spain. If they click on Portugal, you go to Portugal, and so on. Now, one thing I didn't address in the example there, which actually I should have because it's on it. It's just the PDFs got a bit slow, so I thought it was, yeah, it's not there. Okay. Where you have two areas overlapping. So if we take, say, this example here, if the blue part and the yellow part overlapped, and you click on the part where they intersect, like kind of like a Venn diagram, where do you go? Well, what's on top in the list of areas, it's what's on top when it comes to the hotspots. So if you imagine they're like pieces of colored paper that you've cut out and stuck down, the area, the list of areas tells you what goes on top of what. So in this case, Ireland is on top, and then Europe is next, and then Iberia is underneath that. So what's on top in the list of areas is what's on top on the hotspots when they intersect. You can use that to be more efficient. So if you go to the trouble, for example, when coding Morocco, of going like ding, 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 dum, 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 up here like that, okay? If you mark out that shape like that, the country then next to it, which I believe is Algeria, is it? The one next to it then, you can code much more efficiently. You can just code this is going from here to here to here and then over here. And as long as you put that underneath, everything will be fine. Similarly, if Portugal could probably be a rectangle that goes from here to here. If your Spain went from here to here to here to here, and then down here, you don't have to trace around the border of Spain and Portugal. You can just put Spain under Portugal, and everything will be fine. There's another one then that you can do. There's two images in this one here. This first image is the image that you'd actually use on the web page, okay? So if you wake up some morning and you can see both the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty, you are either in Las Vegas or Paris. There's a copy of the Statue of Liberty. The French made a small copy of the Statue of Liberty before they gave it to the Americans. So I guess if it's cool, or if it's hot and people are speaking English here in Las Vegas, this here is San Francisco. This here is Los Angeles, and then this one here is New Orleans. Okay. Clearly, this is a circle, and then you have a number of polygons there. You can actually do this with just one polygon if you set your mind to it, if you're really determined. But again, you can be more efficient by putting one thing onto the other. So if you trace out Los Angeles is going from here to here to here to here to here to here to here and then to here, the border between Los Angeles, the border of San Francisco needn't be as elaborate. You could say this edge of San Francisco goes from here to here, and just make sure San Francisco is under Los Angeles. If it's just behind Los Angeles, then you don't have to do that elaborate border there. To make this easier to code, I've included another image that has a ruler so you can just see where the pixels are. And I've color coded it there to make it easier to see what's what. But this image would not appear on the page. This is the one that goes on the page. So you should be able to download those images and do that. So I'll just check to make sure you can download them properly. It looks like they might be anyway. Okay, any questions on that? Everybody get what I mean by putting one thing under the other? It's a bit like sheets of paper there. Okay, grand, so get cracking on that. So